Okay, hope you can hear me over all the air conditioner and fans I have going. It's pretty hot in here. This one is Neptune through the houses, and Neptune rules Pisces and the 12th house, and that is the house of escapism and lack of boundaries. Your fantasy world, your dreams, your unconscious connections to the spiritual or to the divine. It has you've got no boundaries to your imagination where it is placed, and it can bring illusions, but also inspirations of creativity, connection to the divine, uh, creativity. So the traits that I have written here are traits that come from the house and from the sign of Pisces, the 12th house, and the sign of Pisces. So you can, any water sign is can be psychic and have a lot of intuition, and especially a Pisces is because it's the connection to the unseen world, your unconscious world, what comes up, what's always going on beneath the surface. So anyway, let's go to the next slide, which will show where the house is that Pisces rules. And it's a water sign, it's intuitive and adaptable, and the house rules the house of the unconscious and spirituality. And when it is transiting the first house, or if that planet is in your first house, or if um, Pisces rules your first house, then the traits of Pisces will combine with the traits of an Aries for the time that it transits or for the time that it's there. So and Aries is a fire sign, it's dynamic, and water from Pisces can dampen the effect of Aries or bring you maybe a spiritual connection to your energy. Or now Aries house is ruled by Mars, and that rules your energy and your self-image. The house rules the self-image. So anyway, what you're looking at is Neptune's energy combines with Mars energy, and Mars brings all the things that the first house rules, all about your self-image. It can also affect money coming to you from outside sources. It can affect your energy that you put into workouts, or how you show up, your initiative. I mean, how you put what you put your energy into. So while Neptune is transiting there, or if you have Neptune there or Pisces there, you can have a lot of imagination. Your energy can be focused on imaginative things or on spiritual matters. And you can really put a lot of effort toward that. Hopefully, the more negative things won't be what you focus on, which is addictions or hospitalizations or losses. Because that's what that house, the 12th house of Pisces, rules. It rules idealism too, so it can be your highest ideal. You can uh, look for the highest ideal in your self-image. You can have a sense of of what you want to look like idealistically, or how you want to, how you appear to yourself. You might, uh, while Neptune is transiting there, um, really focus on the ideal image you want for yourself. And so then the second house rules, it is ruled by Taurus, and it's an earth sign. It's practical and persevering and fixed sign. It rules your values and your money that you obtain through your own efforts, and your possessions and your luxuries and rich foods and so forth. And it's ruled by Venus, which also rules the house of Libra, the seventh house of marriage and partners. And um, so some of that effect, because Venus rules both houses, might affect your seventh house also. But we're looking at Taurus right now, and that's a more earthy sign and more earthy effect. And so having Neptune come uh, transit there, or if it's there in your natal chart, you might have a lot of imagination that you use toward making your um, toward how you make your money that you use through your own efforts. Or you may use your spirituality to obtain money through your own efforts. Or your mind might just, you may have some unconscious motivation suddenly more interested in how you make your money, or interested in love and maybe your partners. You might feel more connected to what you value, because the unconscious would be bringing you more feelings, this idealistic thinking that Neptune brings, this imaginative thinking. You might have more focus on imagining what love is, or what your values are, or what luxuries you might want, or what possessions you might like, or what some opulent food. You might just suddenly, all of a sudden, while Neptune is there transiting, you might focus more on the things that Venus rules, because it's coming up through your unconscious motivations, and could even have a spiritual effect on your love life, or a spiritual effect on your way that you earn money. Could be earning money through spirituality somehow. Um, Hopefully it doesn't, your unconscious motivations aren't going to be more toward your addictions, or you end up with hospitalizations or losses, because that sign, Pisces, rules the 12th house of loss. So, and Neptune's the ruler in it. So it's bringing its energy to connect with Venus uh, traits, and the Taurus traits, and all that I've already spoken about. But Neptune brings idealism, so hopefully your unconscious motivations will be more idealistic about your money. Hopefully not more confusing or bring more illusions, but you might imagine something that brings you money through your own efforts. And then the next house is the third house of communications, that is ruled by Gemini, which is an air sign. It's intellectual, adaptable, mutable. It rules the third house of conscious mind, communication, siblings, elementary education. It's where your elementary learning, short distance trips, local communications like using the phone or using computers locally, and so it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury also rules the house of work, which is ruled by Virgo, and that's your daily tasks and your routines and pets and habits and so forth. And so it can affect that house also while Neptune is transiting the third house of Gemini. Let's go to the next slide. So anyway, with Neptune, you're bringing your imagination and your unconscious motivations more toward communications, and it can be connected to your siblings and your learning, your how you study. You can be more imaginative. It might be harder to concentrate, or might have some type of connections with communicating about your spirituality, or your you might feel more like more like being isolated rather than communicating as much. It might dampen the effect of wanting to communicate as much. You might feel dreamy and end up just wanting to be by yourself rather than focused on or your communications can be confusing, or about spirituality, or about your divine connections, because the two combine the energies of Gemini and the energies of Pisces. And air with water, it's a kind of a hard mix together. And so where the water might where Neptune might affect your sixth house, of which is an earth sign, is ruled by the earth sign of Virgo. It would fit there more easily, because water, it waters the earth. And so with the communications house, it's I don't know, you could have psychic experiences or intuitive experiences through your communications somehow too. So that's a more positive way to look at it. And then the next house is the fourth house, and that's ruled by Cancer. And Cancer is another water sign, so extra intuitive energy and extra psychic energy, and it's dynamic, and it's a cardinal sign, and rules the house of home and mother, and not only mother but nurturing. So your main nurturer, or how you nurture yourself. And so cancers are calm and conscientious and domestic and imaginative, and so that connects with the imagination from Neptune also. But they're introverted, and I guess so is a Pisces. They're more introverted, and I guess all water signs kind of have an introverted side to them. Uh, Scorpio is the other water sign, and it's more magnetic energy, kind of mysterious and elusive. But so is a Pisces, are kind of mysterious. It's because, well, they're more mystical rather than magnetic or mysterious. They're more mystical, connected to spiritually connected. But anyway, let's go to the next slide, which shows that the moon, when it transits that house, it brings in your emotions. The moon rules your emotions and your feelings and your moods. Um, a lot of people think of cancers as moody or sulky or not necessarily that way. They can cry a lot or more emotional. So it isn't that they're always that way. It just that's some of the traits that they can have. But they're a very sympathetic and empathetic sign there. So when Neptune is there, you may have a lot of unconscious motivation toward home matters, um, emotional, unconscious need to be home more, or get lost in your imagination and isolate yourself at home, and while it transits there, or that may be your choice to be more at home while you may feel an unconscious motivation to be at home more during the time that Neptune is transiting the house. And also with the moon and that house ruling your mother or your main nurturer, you may feel more connected to mom or think about mom more, uh, or your main whoever nurtured you the most as you grew up. And so, or you may be really spiritual from home. You may choose to be more spiritual at home and get lost in your imagination at your home. Um, do some meditating or something from home and connect with what you think of as the divine world, or what you think of as the other side. And I think that's enough on that one. So the fifth house is ruled by Leo, and that's a fire sign. And it's motivated and persevering, and it's a fixed sign. And it rules the house of entertainment and romance. And so when Neptune comes there, it connects with the sun, which rules your ego and how you entertain, how you show up, how you put your romantic thoughts across. It it's basically how you create, how how your ego shows up. And with Neptune there and the imagination, you could come up with some imaginative, creative ways of entertaining and um, romantic ideas, even a spiritual connection to some romance, possibly uh, find a divine connection through a romantic connection. Or you could also, on the not so good side, maybe have illusions and confusion around a romance or around your creativity and the way that you want to show up. And like water puts out fire, so it could dampen the way you want to show up, or you could feel a little confused about what you're trying to put forth as or show. Because a Leo is very proud and wants to be in the spotlight, and uh, Neptune rules a Pisces, which is more a quiet and a behind the scenes type energy. And it's artistic and charitable and creative and dedicated, and but it's a dreamer and imaginative. And so, like when it comes to Leo, Leos are more extroverted, and they're leaders and competitive and confident and creative. So it's good on the, I mean, your perception of it might be that it's good for your creative side, because your imagination might come into play on something creative. And on the other side, it's kind of a clash of uh, your quiet side and your unconscious motivations might dampen what you feel as how you show up. You may not feel like you are as confident because and want to just be more isolated. Where our Neptune is, it brings this feeling that you want to be isolated, but it also has no boundaries to imagination, so no boundaries to your spirituality. You could have a spiritual connection to your romantic life. So I mean, there's always the good and the bad, and hopefully you don't go overboard on addictions or get hospitalized or lose something, that maybe a loss of ego, loss of a romance, or loss of some type of creative thing that you've worked on. Hopefully those don't happen, but those are possibilities wherever Neptune goes. So you've got the positive and the negative. It could make you really creative and come up with some really great creative project. And then the sixth house is the house of Virgo, and Virgo is an earth sign. It's practical, adaptable, mutable, and rules the house of work and health and daily habits and pets and um, routines, and how you care for things, caretaking, any type of caretaking. And it rules nurses, and it's ruled by Mercury, which I've already mentioned when I was in mentioning the third house. So it could, whenever Neptune goes in that house of work ruled by Virgo, it can also affect the third house of Gemini. And that's the house of communications. So with Neptune coming in that house, it might make you your daily habits and routines more imaginative. You might have more spirituality that incorporated into your habits. You might have divine connections for your work. If you have Neptune in your natal chart in that house, you might have spiritual work for the type of work that you do, or just have spiritual practice in your daily habits. and routines and the way that you take care of yourself. It's the house of health, so there could be unfortunate things like hospitalizations, some type of issue with, when Neptune transits there, that's one of the cautions, to be careful that you might hurt yourself or be hospitalized somehow, or consume too much alcohol and have to be incarcerated or something. But that's just Neptune brings this nebulous energy, and like I say, there's the bad and the good, and um, hopefully it's more the spiritual type of thing that you incorporate into your daily habits and pets and routines, and you may feel a more spiritual connection to your routines, or a more spiritual connection to your work, or a divine connection somehow is incorporated into your routines. So um, Virgo is practical, so you're it's a down to earth sign, and Neptune is a water rules a water sign, and Mercury, when it comes into Virgo, is earth sign, and Neptune waters earth, so they work together well, but uh, just your imagination may be more focused on, and your unconscious motivations may be more focused on your work and daily habits and routines, and uh, you may come up with some imaginative ways to to work, or to on your health matters or something. And then the next house is Libra, and I've spoken about that when I spoke about Venus, when because Venus rules both Taurus and Libra is an air sign. It's intellectual and dynamic and cardinal, and rules the house of partnerships and marriage. And so when Neptune comes there, then you're talking about maybe a lot of imagination around your partners, and a lot of imagination around your marriage, possible loss of marriage, possible loss of partners. Uh, Hopefully they don't get hospitalized, or you don't. Um, or you could find a divine connection to someone spiritual uh, as a partner. Hopefully not illusions and confusion, but that's part of what Neptune rules, and your imagination. So um, now Libra is a fair and just energy, and it likes beauty and aesthetics, and everything to be balanced and charming and elegant, and uh, it's an extroverted sign, which is in conflict with the Pisces or Neptune energy, which is more more introverted. But Libras are flirtatious and gracious and idealistic also, like Pisces. They're both idealistic. Libra can be indecisive and uh, a peacemaker, and very refined and sociable. So this is really, to me, it's a lovely energy together. But when you think it's water and air, it's really not they're really not supposed to work together well. But when your imagination might be really focused on your marriage and partners during the time that Neptune transits that house, and you could have illusions and confusion around the subjects that uh, your partnership and around it's all kinds of partnerships, not just marriage or not just a love partner. It's any kind of partner. You could have some kind of illusion or confusion around them while Neptune transits that house. And then the eighth house is ruled by Scorpio and Pluto, and Pluto is a transformative energy. Scorpio is another water sign and intuitive and psychic and persevering. It's a fixed sign, and it rules the house of death, sex, and rebirth. And it can be competitive and determined and forceful and magnetic and mysterious, powerful, probing, possessive, resourceful, strong-willed, fixated. So when Neptune comes there, you might have some unconscious motivations towards the thing that house and that sign of Scorpio and the planet rule. And that house rules sexuality and death and your transformations. It rules secrets, and it rules money coming to you from outside sources. And the traditional ruler of Scorpio was Mars, which that's also your self-image is entering into the mix when you're looking at it that way. And so both of those rule, both Pluto and Mars can rule money coming to you from outside sources, and that means any type of inheritance or government stipends or something that is not earned through your own efforts, maybe through your hobbies or something, or your creative side, because with Neptune there, Neptune is a creator. I mean, it's imaginative and could be creative. And so you could, through your spirituality or your imaginative side, create something that brings you money from outside sources while Neptune transits that house. Or it could be something you could have a lot of imagination about, maybe sexuality, or be obsessed more than usual, or have some psychological things going on underneath that in your imagination it brings up all the things that Scorpio rules and all the things that house rules. The house rules psychology, and it also rules the study of astrology and the occult. So your spirituality might include more occult information while Neptune transits that house, or and it would affect your with Mars. It would affect how you perceive yourself. Could be that you have a divine connection suddenly to spirituality and transform your whole psychology on thinking about spirituality, or about sexuality, or about money that comes to you from outside sources, or the occult. You could just have some things come up from your unconscious mind that transforms your whole your whole thinking about all those things that Scorpio and Pluto rule, and about your self-image too. And then the next house is the ninth house of Sagittarius, and it's a fire sign, and motivated and adaptable and mutable, rules the ninth house of the higher mind and long distance travel and long distance communications and foreign and long distance connections and formal religion. So here you're combining spirituality with formal religion. So while Neptune is in that house, you might imagine a lot more on religion and theology and philosophy, and may have long distance connections and foreign connections or communications or travel that involve spirituality or religion. So, or you could isolate yourself with your with maybe isolate yourself to study on long distance, because also it rules the higher mind. Jupiter Sagittarius rules the higher mind and higher learning. So higher education, professors and so forth. So you might really get into studying, have an unconscious motivation to study and have really delve into religion and spirituality and uh, learnings, expanding your mind. Uh, uh, Jupiter expands what it touches. That house is the house of abundance, and good fortune. So all of those things combined. So you're looking at a Pisces coming into a Sagittarius house and combining the energy, and so uh, hopefully there won't be losses through those things. But the positive side is that you might expand your mind on all things philosophical or theological or spiritual or religious, or have some long distance communication or travel that involves those things, or just a higher learning, something that you really wanted to learn. And then uh, the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, an earth sign. It's practical, dynamic, and cardinal. And it's that rules the house of career and your father and government, every kind of structure that you can think of. It rules um, obstructions or delays and uh, things that come in the way. It makes you slow down and be more methodical. And since it rules the career, while Neptune is transiting there, you might have trouble, or you might imagine more toward you might imagine, spend more time imagining limitations or imagining restrictions, or you could just imagine ways to structure your career more, but focus maybe more unconsciously on your responsibilities being more tedious and restricted, and It could be connected to your father. You could feel maybe some confusion about your career or your father. Um, it can be governmental or political structures that you might focus on have unconscious confusion about, come up about political and government issues, and that's while Neptune transits that house. It's Saturn and Capricorn are a persevering energy and realistic and serious, can be pessimistic and focus on limitations, and uh, it seeks status and money and power. So you could have maybe a dreamy focus on those things. You might feel more confused about how your or about your status, or about your how you seek money or power. And Capricorn is more conventional and diligent, and so you might just have a harder time thinking of through your responsibilities and your restrictions. It slows you down wherever Saturn is, wherever that house rules. It slows you down, and so uh, it could also make you more spiritual in your career if you have that, especially in your own sign, in your natal chart. It could be a divine connection from through your career, or spirituality you find through your career somehow while Neptune is there, some kind of spiritual connection. And the 11th house is the house of Aquarius, and Aquarius is an air sign. It's intellectual, persevering, rules a it's a fixed sign. It rules the house of society at large and friendships. And so when Neptune comes there, then it your imagination can focus on more of the things that Aquarius is, and Aquarius rules rebellion and individuality and revolution, and it has an urge toward freedom. Um, see, rules big tech, can be explosive energy, and things come in a lightning way. Things can come out of the ordinary. It's odd, unexpected, erratic, unusual. Um, but it rules society at large. So you could have a spiritual connection to, or an unconscious motivation toward revolution or toward rebellion, or uh, and see it as a spiritual uh, thing that you're working to revolutionize, or a divine connection that you're working to revolutionize. Or you could be doing it through big tech. You could have inspirations and um, novel thinking about, and inventive thinking about uh, how you can revolutionize society or something. You get lost in your imagination about about how you're going to revolutionize the society or something. And it would come in quick, unusual, in an unusual, explosive way, maybe. Um, can be completely unpredictable and unique and have inventive tones to it. The Uranus rules and Aquarius rules where you're ingenious. And so it could be something really ingenious that comes up from your unconscious mind. And then we're to the house of Pisces, so it's double the effect that Neptune brings, and double the effect that Pisces, all the things that Pisces rule would be doubled while Neptune transits that house. And that's water, intuitive, maybe psychic, more adaptable, mutable, and um, more unconscious energy. Possibly want to be more isolate yourself. You might have unfortunate things like losses, or you might be hospitalized, but it might just be that you isolate yourself more with spirituality and thinking about your ideal life or divine connections, and it rules addictions and so forth. So hopefully that isn't a focus, but that's one of the things that house rules. But on the positive side, its traditional ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of abundance and good fortune and all this wonderful jovial energy. So um, there's that, and it rules long distance connections and foreign connections and so forth. So um, thinking of it through your imagination, you could have far thinking spiritual thoughts, really get into spiritual thoughts, and in a big way. Or travel for spiritual a spiritual traveling, or religious traveling, traveling a far distance and finding spiritual and religious matters that you can isolate yourself into. So I think that's the last one, and thanks for listening.